everybody? Welcome to the channel. I'm Inu and we're here with highly articulated Adam. Kato's not here, so we're going to bring in Adam to join the channel. I didn't want to sit here and talk by myself, so he's got a couple things he wants to mention, talk about. We're going to talk about Wave 2 a little bit and have a little fun. So thank you for stopping in. We'll see who's in the comments and everything like that. How are you doing, Adam?
I'm great, man. I'm just I'm getting home from work because it's only 6 p.m. here on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Still sunny and warm, a little bit muggy today, but I'm good. I was answering up as many emails as I could today. We'll get into that in a minute, but yeah, I'm still waiting on
it. It's like 89 degrees here.
What were we? We were about that, I think.
Okay.
More or less in Canada, if you can believe that. Actually,
Yeah.
where I live is like semi-desert, so it actually gets pretty hot.
Yeah, it's just the only problem here is just it gets muggy, right? So the humidity is like super high. So, and it right about this time of year, you get into 90, like next week's supposed to be mid 90s. It's going to feel like 105 with the water in there.
I'll be honest. Like my parents are from Ontario, East Coast-ish kind of thing. So much more humid out there. I can't stand it. Like I said, semi-desert here. So even when it's like we hit temperatures over 100 and it's hot, but I mean, if you're in the shade or, it's pretty easy to manage it just because it's so much drier. Humidity is, ugh.
Yeah. It's like,
I'm not built for humidity. I can't adapt very well to humidity. I can adapt to temperatures. I can't adapt to humidity.
It's rough. First time I ever went to Florida, I was like, God, how do you people live here? It's like
Yeah.
After it rained, it was even hotter than it was before. I was like,
there was one time, the first time I remember seeing like because here we never even check what the humidity is because it's never humid. But I was in Ontario and there was like a weather report that said the humidity was going to be over 100. I was like, isn't that water? Like what do you mean it's over 100? Isn't 100 typically like complete? Are you just swimming at that point?
Anyway. Let's see who we got in the comments. Got Brick Something, Payne's Toy Samples, Scott Baker. Thank you for stopping in. The Nutty Buckeye, my first time catching the AWOK podcast live. All right. So we've got a few people in here. We kind of wait till we get to 15, 20, kind of the magic number, I think, to, so we don't repeat things too much. I know the last one I did by myself, I feel like I repeated the same thing like 10 times.
But it's not always the way, though. Like, I feel like, I'll have like the most exciting thing I want to say at the beginning of a video and I'll say it right away. And then 10 minutes later, somebody will be like, are you going to talk about this? And I'm like, what? I spent 9 minutes talking about it. You just jumped in and asked the same question.
Right. I've got Jeremy in here. Endless Fables. All right. So this little off top. I know you do, Joe. You do Vala too?
No. I don't. I backed the Kickstarter, but my tastes veer more towards the fantastic, the sci-fi. If it's too realistic, it tends to lose my interest, which is why I'm such a big AWOK fan.
I got you.
Sci-fi ape humans with energy weapons and blades is right on my alley. So.
Yeah, I'm kind of like I like both. I'm not one of those, I only like Joe's or I only like this. I like both because I think they do two different things, One catches the 8-year-old me and the other one is like, oh, this is very on point with what it should be. And I like, this looks realistic. So it's good,
There's
but I'm also like, I like bright colors. So I don't know if you can see, I got a bunch of Masterverse. I like Masters of the Universe, bright greens, yellows, red.
Yeah,
all that stuff's good. So
yeah, I like the Valaverse stuff. I've been buying all the weapons packs just to sort of augment my classified stuff because the price points are phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
But then stuff like the like the Swarm is fantastic.
Yeah.
But I would be buying the Swarm to kind of fit in with my Joes, and I've already got bats, so it kind of just it didn't really make sense, and so yeah, great line, but not my jam.
Yeah. I always thought, like, to me in my headspace, like the Swarm guys remind me of like the Cobra La troops.
Yeah, yes, totally.
They're like they're like the mechanized versions of those in a way. So that's
And
what
that red one that they're doing, especially like the one that they revealed at Joe Fest, that one looks really, really good
yeah,
too.
I got to get one of those. When I saw them show them at Joe Fest, I'm like, yeah, I gotta have that. That looks great.
It's a PowerCon exclusive, right?
Yeah,
Or that's where they're going to release it, I guess.
yeah, it'll go up at PowerCon, I think, but it'll probably be a get it on their site. They're supposed to be doing some things to the site next week. So we got some more people in here. We got Michael Cagiat. Sorry about that. Moonshine Mill. And I think that's it where we left off. Oh, let me shut my door here. I think my daughter's trying to do gymnastics. She's 9, so she's gymnast, cheerleader, you name it.
Yeah, my 7-year-old's right in that same thing. There's always a performance that I'm meant to be watching.
Yep, I've been to a lot of stuff, a lot of travel.
Mm-hmm.
So you said you have not got your Wave 2 yet. It's on the way. Or you got any?
I've got, so my Wave 2 is split. Some of it's coming from Spiro Direct. Some of it is coming from ecollectibles.ca.
Okay.
And so I've had my just like a lot of people, I've had a tracking number for quite a while, it seems like, but I sort of understand the ins and outs of why I have a tracking number, but I don't have anything trackable.
Right.
Which we can absolutely get into as well, if we want to.
Yeah. Let's do that. I know you got some information you wanna talk about. So
Yeah, this kind of worked out perfectly because Cato reached out and was like, "Hey, I'm not going to be available. Do you want to fill in for me?" And I was like, "Sure." That was happening sort of completely independent from me talking to Jason about taking on some of the customer service stuff. As some of you may know, Jason is just absolutely swamped with orders, and then as an extension of that, getting emails, getting messages on Facebook, getting messages on Instagram, just absolutely bombarded by messages. And I think I think he's absolutely sort of overwhelmed by the support for this line. And the numbers aren't something that he could have anticipated.
yeah.
And so as a result, he was just caught off guard a little bit by how much product he had to shift and how much he had to move. And as a result, human error creeps in there, and there was a few mistakes, and so there's some things to catch up on, and he was just having a little bit of trouble keeping up on that. So I sort of volunteered to step in. We've set up an email. That email is help@spirotoys.com. I will be fielding all of those emails. So if you've got, an issue with your shipment, or if it's late and you don't know where it is, if you've got a tracking number and you don't understand why there's nothing to track, if you missed something, if you got the wrong head pack, whatever it is, fire me an email. That being said, the email sort of launched today, and I've got a lot of emails to get through. Some of them are, I got a tracking number. Where's my order? There's unfortunately a few orders where the ones that had been delayed, some of the international stuff that was waiting for Wave 2, the Wave 2 stuff went out, and the Wave 1 stuff didn't. So there's that. So there's some of these issues were known to Jason. But as far as, you know, the emails coming in and being able to sort of respond to them and sort of communicate what's going on with people, he was just struggling to find the time to do that while still packing and shipping orders. A whole bunch of the USPS stuff that had been like piling up and piling up and piling up got picked up today, apparently. So a lot of those tracking numbers might go, you know, more live than they were yesterday, today. Hopefully that'll sort of deal with a bunch of those emails and those questions. Today I tried my best to reply to as many emails that came in as I could. Just sort of ran out of time. I'll probably try to do a few more once I get the kids to sleep and stuff like that. But please be patient with us. Please be patient with me as well. I just volunteered to do this. You know, I've got my 3 kids and my actual job as well. But my actual job involves a lot of what I'm doing for Jason. So it's not, it's something that I'm prepared for and something that I'm happy to do. And if that can sort of free Jason up to pack more orders, to get more creative time in as far as, you know, getting more prototypes painted and ready to go and get things to the factory and stuff like that. It's sort of, you know, it works out for me in the end too, if he can come out with more cool figures that I want. So
yeah. So I'll put it in the comments. I got that right. Help at spirotoys.com.
Yep. Yeah, okay. You got it right in there.
Okay. Yeah, customer service is an interesting thing. I deal with a lot of it too. Like I have people that have a go-between, like merchandising and customer service, and it's a lot of back and forth. So I can feel you on that.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, I'm in Canada. My shipment has been delayed. Like my Spiro stuff has been delayed. So I know where people are coming from, you know, in terms of their frustrations and stuff like that. And you know, as a Canadian, it's in my nature to be apologetic. So it just sort of it made sense. It was sort of an easy thing to offer, because like I said, I kind of do it for work anyway, and so it's just it's like I do it for work with people that aren't cool and that like aren't people that I would want to talk to and have anything in common with anyway. So it's actually been surprisingly pleasant, and people have been very, very nice and very
oh, well, that's
different. I'm not kidding you. Like you know, even I'm not going to name any names, but some names that I kind of anticipated might be a little bit nastier have been very, very nice and very cordial and polite. And I think it's really just one of those things where Jason just didn't have time, and it wasn't anything personal. It wasn't anything where he was like trying to ignore anybody, but he just genuinely didn't have time to sort of reply to every email and every message and stuff like that. So now that there's sort of a channel for it, you know, hopefully it sort of, you know, he's unburdened by that a little bit. He was also getting super stressed out about it.
I can imagine.
Part of it is that like he would lose track of stuff, right? People would be like, "Hey, you know, can you fix this?" And he'd be like, "Yes," and then get pulled in 10 other directions. And it wasn't that he was, you know, trying to be, you know, sneaky or malicious or whatever. It was just he just genuinely forgot or misplaced, you know, that conversation thread or whatever it was. So yeah, help at spirotoys.com. Reach out if you got any issue, and I will do everything in my power to get it sorted out. It's going to take a few days. It's going to take some time. I see a few days. I mean, we got a big long weekend coming up. You know, it's Canada Day up here. It's, you know, 4th of July for you guys too. So bear with us. You know, this is maybe not the best timing to kick this all off, but it is what it is. And we will try to get as much of it sorted out as quickly as we can. Like I said, a bunch of the problems were kind of known problems, so those ones will be pretty easy to tackle.
Mm.
You know, orders where they got wave 2 but wave 1 got missed, that's an easy one. You'll just get another box with the remaining stuff in it. Some of the stuff where people got the wrong stuff, wrong address, shipping, something's off with the shipping, whatever. Might take a little bit more time, but
Mm.
you know, we're actively working on all of it. So
Yeah, that's good because I was seeing some like on our Facebook group, some people asking some questions. I honestly don't have any answers for you regarding like international shipping and where it's at and stuff like that. So this should help any of those people that have those questions. So I'll also put it in our Facebook group so it's up there. If it's not
yeah.
already, it may already be. I don't know. I have to check, but if it's not, I'll put it in there, and hopefully, anybody's got any questions, just email you. You'll solve it for them.
And if anybody's watching and they have any questions, feel free to ask me. I mean, I don't have all the answers, you know, right in front of me either. That's part of it. Is like this is sort of initial phases. This is
Yeah.
just Jason and I had a few conversations. The email got set up yesterday, so it's not as though it's been sort of taking time. It's more that I reached out and was like, hey, do you want me to do something? Do you want me to step in? And he was like so grateful and very gracious to sort of let me step in, because not everybody would, right? Some people would just, you know,
Oh yeah. This is mine. I'll take care of it. I'll figure it
yeah,
out. You know,
yeah,
that sort
you
of.
know, those
Yeah.
people can kick rocks or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like it wasn't that at all, right? Like it was literally just he doesn't have time to do everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, we'll get it sorted out. The message that I'm trying to sort of get to people is, you know, in the initial emails that I'm sort of replying to people, is that we will fix all these problems. This
Mm.
will get sorted out. You know, you've been patient for so long. If you can be a little bit more patient and you know, help us help you, we'll get this done, and we'll make sure that everybody gets the figures that they want, because they're absolutely amazing figures. And yeah.
Let's see. Let me just go through and see if there's anything related. Okay, Endless Fables has got this. I got Vero, no tracking. Got a tracking number for the rest of the wave. I ordered head packs separately, says delivered, but I ordered a couple wave 1 items at the same time that I received. So, you know,
Yeah,
that's something you got to look at and all that. But
yeah, and I mean, there's definitely a few of those. Endless Fables, you may or may not have already emailed me. I don't know, but feel free to send an email. What I will ask of people is if you can include the order number and then sort of a list of what you got and what you didn't get, because that kind of streamlines the process for me big time. Um, Today, a lot of my responses have been just that. You know, can you send me exactly what you got and exactly what you're missing?
mm,
Because just having it in front of me makes it that much quicker. I can look at the orders and sort of see what you were supposed to get, but if I know what you physically have in front of you, then it makes it that much quicker to kind of eliminate, you know, and kind of, yeah, it's a whole process. But
yeah.
we'll get there. But that, I mean, that's another one too, where it's like a lot of people have multiple orders too, right? You might have a Kickstarter or a backer kit order, and then you might have ordered, you know, an in stock order with when it was AWOK Wednesday, or you might have ordered a Vero Atlas when it sort of popped up, or when I told you to, because I've been telling people to buy Vero Atlas whenever they can, because there's not going to be any more of them once they're
Yeah.
gone. So yeah, if people can include an order number, and then, like I said, what they physically have in hand and what they are missing, that just gives me a much quicker sort of reference. And I'm actually making, you know, like a spreadsheet list of all this information.
Mhm.
So it does take time, and we'll be very methodical and move through it as quickly as we can. So.
All right.
Seb
AWOK.
Leduc, I definitely saw your email. You will. I'm aiming to reply at least, you know, in some form or fashion to every email within 24 hours. But that, I mean, that's that's what I'm hoping to do. If it takes a little bit longer, please please bear with me. Like I said, I'm compiling it all, and the goal is to sort of compile it all and then sort of have a working list where we can sort of address the biggest ones, and sort of the Kickstarter stuff is going to be a priority just by default because those people have been waiting the longest.
Right.
Where people have gotten their wave 2 but got shorted wave 1, that's a pretty easy one as well. It'll be a little bit more complicated where it's, address problems or I got the wrong thing or whatever, but we'll sort them all. We'll get through it all.
So this is equally important. So here's your channel. Anybody has not subscribed to Highly Articulated, please go in there, hit that button, subscribe to them. Where you at right now? How many you got?
I just went over 400.
Okay. So you're close to the new 500.
That's, yeah. I mean, about a week and a half ago, I was, around 330 or something like that. And then when they changed the rules, I kind of went begging, and I was like, if you can subscribe, please do. Because it was like, I'm that much closer to 500 where, the rules kind of change.
Yeah.
You have access to more tools in the toolbox, and, so that would be amazing. I mean, when I started, I've said this before on my channel and on other people's channels. When I started, I thought 100 subscribers would be a success. And now I'm greedy and my ego's growing, and now I want to hit that 500.
Yep, it happens. I was the same way. I was happy to get 10, and I was like, well, if I ever get 100, that'd be great. Now I got 100, and like, well, 500, and it just keeps going.
Yeah.
And whether you hit it or not, if you're having fun, I think you win, right?
And that's the thing, is like I'm doing it because it's fun, and like we're doing AWOK stuff on my channel. I'm doing a show with Brick, and then on Brick's channel, Brick and I are doing the lore videos, and he's doing all the heavy lifting. He's doing all the editing. He's doing all the hard work and making me look really good. I just show up and talk and get credit for showing up. It's I get a gold star for effort every time, but that's basically all I do. But yeah, I mean, it's just fun, right? Like it's toys, and it should be fun, and I want it to be fun for everybody. So that part of this help that I've offered Jason is also because I want him to have more fun. He's just getting bogged down with the logistics and with the minutia of how do I fix this. And I want everybody to have fun, including the people that are running the companies. So
yeah. Let's see who else we got here. Okay, this one get sorted out. Be patient. Yes, please. Everybody understands. That's things happen and stuff like that. So just be patient, and Adam will get you sorted out.
Yeah, sure. And it's it's kind of one of those things where it takes time, and unfortunately some of these things, like, people have been emailing or messaging for a while, but like I said, it's just Jason's brain and my brain work very differently. My brain is very sort of analytical, and I'm making a spreadsheet. I'm pretty sure Jason didn't have a spreadsheet of these issues.
Yeah.
So set today as sort of the starting point for sort of the issues, and we'll sort of hope to get them sorted out sooner rather than later.
I'm sort of like you. That's kind of where my headspace is. I would have like put in orders and spreadsheets and columns and all this stuff. So that's kind of the way I think about things too. But there's a lot of times creative people are more, they think on a different level. They don't think about that kind of thing. They're more like, what figure looks good, what color palette looks good. And that's not something that I even, comprehend. So
no, and that's the thing. I couldn't come up with the designs in the story and stuff like that. And so this is me kind of selfishly saying, okay, Jason, you don't have to do this anymore. When's issue 5 of the comic book coming out? Like, now that I've sort of taken this on, you have no more excuses. So that's, so Jeremy emailed me and he says, nobody's reading my comment. So this is what Jeremy decided to email to the help. Nobody's reading my comments in the video.
For this one, I sent you an email. Is that what
Yeah.
you emailed? I'm sorry, Jeremy. Sorry.
Well, Jeremy, nobody's reading the orange sheet either, so I guess that's your lot in life.
I saw where did I see it? Where was it? Somebody posted somewhere. Where's the orange sheet?
Yeah, somebody was like, "Why didn't I get one?"
Yeah.
Somebody was saying that they wanted it for their collection and they didn't get it with their first shipment and they were like disappointed.
If you need one, let me know. I got one or two. I'll mail it to you if you need one.
I never got an orange sheet either. I thought that was like, I felt a little bit left out. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I get where that person's coming from, wanting an orange sheet when everybody's talking about the orange sheet and they never got one.
Like the pamphlets, they used to come with toys, the little brochures and everything. Yeah.
But but as far as some of the questions that I've got, like I said, like some people got wave 2 and should have got wave 1 and didn't. That's a known issue, and Jason knows why, and so that's going to be pretty easy to fix.
Okay.
Some people were asking about the making of art book, which hasn't been released yet. So if you got shorted that's why it doesn't exist. Nobody has it yet. Comic books, I got to talk to Jason about that because some people got some issues and not others. The digital comic, if you backed it in the Kickstarter, for some reason it hasn't been sorting properly, so that'll get fixed. Yeah, I mean it's all, I mean, in a nutshell, all these problems can be fixed, right? It's just a matter of compiling the list of what needs to be done, and then we'll just methodically go through it and make sure that everybody gets what they need, what they ordered, what they want, because it's certainly not the case where anything's being withheld or sort of whatever. And if you just want to know what's going on with your order, feel free to email that too. I can do a little bit more digging than maybe you'll get through the site. There was a weird issue, and I don't know if I even quite understand this entirely, but like Jason prints the orders before they get pulled and packed and shipped, and he kind of sorts what he's gonna pull and pack and ship each day. But there's something about when he prints the orders, it generates like a tracking number, which is why a lot of those tracking numbers have existed, but then there's nothing. Like it looks like it's not moved because it hasn't.
Yeah. So on certain systems, and I think like Shopify does this. Like, so if you print your do an invoice, it prints the label. The label will show it'll show a tracking number, but it'll have no data. So it's basically not picked up by the company yet, UPS, FedEx, whatever. As soon as they pick it up, then it goes active. You see that a lot for like certain things, especially you order international. You'll see that sort of same thing. So.
And it's the same as a lot of other sites. The difference is he's printing hundreds of orders at a time.
Yeah.
So he's not getting through them, right? Whereas like a smaller store that's sort of over the hump of sort of getting all this product out is printing 10 of those a day. They're pulling and packing and shipping them that day, so you don't see a lag, even though there is a lag.
Yeah.
Whereas with this, like, everybody's kind of seeing the lag between when their order gets printed and when their order is actually getting processed and pulled and so on and so forth. Or at least that's sort of how I understand it. it's still confusing to me. But like I said, we're going to work through this, and I'm just working through the emails, compiling the list, and we'll get it sorted. But you got wave 2. I don't have wave 2 yet. A lot of people have started to get wave 2. Some of them are missing wave 1 still. So it's, everybody's starting to get something. And apologies to people that have nothing yet. You're kind of the priority. That's the big priority, is that if you've got nothing yet, you will be at the front of the line as far as this endeavor goes. I've spoken to a couple people already today, and I've said that to them, where having nothing in hand is like worse than having half your order. So that will be front of the line, and we'll sort those ones out first, and then, like I said, Kickstarter stuff that hasn't been fulfilled will be next, and then it'll be the later stuff. Now, there might be stuff that sort of doesn't fall into the sort of day-to-day, the ones where the sort of known problems of certain things getting missed. Those are quicker fixes. It's the ones where, like, okay, you got shipped the wrong thing. We got to figure out, what to do with that, get you the right thing, so on and so forth. Those might take, a couple days more, but be patient. It'll all get sorted out.
Let's see. He's signed by the author. So, I guess you got an orange sheet.
I asked for one. I asked for one autographed by the author. Yeah. First edition, autographed by the author.
There you go. Number that thing.
I'm going to get it graded. Yeah. I'm going to get it graded, and then I'm going to sell it for a boatload of money when this thing blows up. When everybody wants one. When everybody hears the legend of the orange sheet.
Yeah, that's it. So looking forward to female characters. Yeah, Malo's like one I really want. That's like a top, since we've been talking about this. Since I saw that in the comic, I was like, oh, that would be a great figure. And then I saw the actual figure. It's like, oh yeah, I can't wait. I think it's just a color combination to me. Is really, really nice.
The female figures look great. That wave 2 that'll be the first wave with new bucks that we don't have yet. So the more slender buck for Kanji and the Horrid Assassin as well. Those are going to be. I'm probably most excited for those two. Like that wave is
Kanji's
is great, and then after that, there's more new bucks coming, in waves after that as well. We saw the lizard, right? The lizard opens up the door to other reptiles and some amphibian stuff, and and then all the rumors about different animals. I know you want a turtle. You're pushing for a turtle.
I want a turtle.
I have a list of animals that I want to see, and so I'm just kind of biding my time, waiting for those species and for those figures to come out, because we kind of seen some of them in the comic book, and I've been privy to some of the plots that they want to do after this story arc. So there's so much good stuff coming down the pipeline, and it's like it's funny because Brick and I are doing the show about lore and digging deep into the lore, and there's tons of people that just aren't reading the comic book, so like they see certain figures very differently than we do. And there's certain people that are just kind of looking at the line like, well, it's just apes and a couple cats, like what's the big deal, not knowing that it's the possibilities are endless, right? They think that wave 10 is going to be more apes, but if you're paying attention, if you're kind of in the groups and stuff like that, you've seen the warthogs and the elephants and the lizard and so on and so forth, and it's just sort of like I want everybody to hear about this line and sort of see what's in the pipeline that's been sort of already revealed. But I can't wait for the stuff that, you know, it is still behind the curtain to be revealed, because I think it's going to blow up. I think it's,
Yeah.
You know, it's an IP that it feels immediately familiar and nostalgic, despite the fact that it's absolutely brand new and fresh. And you know, there's so much possibility. A conversation the other night was kind of around the fact that, like, there's no baggage, right? Like, there's no characters that we expect them to be something. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yeah.
Jason and I were talking about Luke Skywalker and how, like, in The Last Jedi, you know, and the people kind of were like, you know, that's not my Luke Skywalker. It's like,
Right.
well, you know, they'd have 30 years to kind of fan fiction out what Luke Skywalker is to them. But Jason kind of has the luxury of not having that. But at the same time, you know, the other side of that coin is you got to get people to engage. People will engage with Star Wars because they've been in love with it for decades. We just got to get everybody to fall in love with Animal Warriors of the Kingdom.
Yeah. I recommend you download the comics and read them, because in the beginning I was like, oh, these are cool looking figures, but I didn't really get in that line until I downloaded like I think it was only 3 available at the time, the first 3, and I read through them. I was like, oh, I did not expect the kind of the plot twist in there.
Yeah,
This is not what I anticipated at all. So this
I
made it even more appealing to me once I read that part.
absolutely.
And I don't want to say,
that was,
because some people haven't read it, so definitely go download it and read it.
yeah, it's cheap. I go to
Yeah.
spirotoy.com, $2 an issue. Just get the first one. I mean, if you like it, go back and get the second one.
Yep.
It's $2, and it's you know, there's no delivery fee or anything like that, and you get it right away. It's well worth it. It's such a good comic book, and that's coming from somebody that reads comic books. Like, I didn't buy it because I was into the toys.
Mhm.
I actually got way more into the toys as a result of reading the first comic book. So I think I backed like 1 or 2 figures,
Mhm.
and then when I got the PDF of issue 1, I ordered everything else. I was like, I need it all. I need
Yeah.
I need it all. I need all the characters. I need all the weapons packs. And that's when I started messaging Jason initially, being like, "Are we gonna get this? Are we gonna get this? Can I get this? Is this gonna happen?" Like, just
Yeah.
because I don't know what it is. I can't really, like, put my finger on it. You know, there's a whole lot of IPs that I love.
Mhm.
So many of them have sort of a nostalgic element to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this one just kind of hits in some way that, like, nothing else right now, at least for me, does.
And it's also a good way to look at, like, maybe what's coming down the road, or some things that
Mhm.
might be talked about. There's some cool looking, like, beasts and different things like that are, that would be great figures. You
Mhm.
never know what could
Mhm.
happen. Let's see. I'm looking for all the comics in physical form. I picked them up digitally and really enjoyed them. Uh, What is the last update on, like, the physical comic
Yeah,
thing?
I'm not 100% certain on that. I'm going to be checking in with Jason this weekend about the comics, because there issues 1, 2, and 3 were printed physically, and 4 might have been in a small quantity. But Jason's looking for, like, an actual publisher, like a
Mhm.
comic book publisher, to kind of take over publishing.
Mhm.
If he does that, um, the intention is that they will reprint all of the books starting at issue 1. If he can't find somebody to do that, he will kind of finish doing what he's doing.
Mhm.
So they're coming again. It's kind of one of those things where there's plans. You know, there's stuff going on behind the scenes, but with the comic books, be patient. I will know more after this weekend. And so any email that comes through right now that's comic book related, you may get kind of a generic answer of, like, I'll find out. But as soon as I find out, I will reach out to those people and answer those questions as best as I can.
Okay.
But what I will say is the comic book that they have printed up to this point is, like, really good quality. So I'm kind of hoping that they print all 5 of the first story arc the same way.
Yeah.
I actually requested that because I now want all 5 that way. I would still buy a trade paperback. Like I would put those comic books sort of away and keep them safe, and I'd have the trade to like read constantly. And if they reprint them, I'd buy them again, just because I'm, a total mug for this stuff, and I would want that version of it too.
Comics have really, like, from when I was a kid, the colors and the materials, there's such a dramatic difference between, like, if you take a look at any comic, 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever, and then today's comic, it's a night and day difference. And with
Yeah,
that, you get a cost increase or whatever, but that's just the cost of doing business. But it's dramatic. Like I had a comic I found not too long ago, Alpha Flight, from like 19, I don't know, old one. And
I love Alpha Flight.
and looked at it and it's like, oh, this looks like a faded old, it's old, but it's like a faded old print on like newspaper quality
Yeah,
paper,
it's like one step up from newspaper stock, and it's like
Yeah.
one step up from newspaper printing. That
Yeah.
ink was like liquid ink. There was only so many colors they had to work with.
Mhm.
Now it's all digital and it's all
Yep.
done. Like it's all, man, it's night and day. You're absolutely right. I picked up like the Jim Lee. This is totally off topic, but I picked up the Jim Lee X-Men #1. They did like a facsimile version of it or whatever,
Mhm.
and it's like so crisp and clean. I was like, I want them to just reprint all the comic books.
Oh man.
Like, that I my collection would shift from like comic books from the 80s and 90s when I bought them in
Yeah.
that crummy stock
Yeah.
to like glossy, beautiful colors like this. Yeah. But there's there's a magic to those old ones too, right? Like there's a nostalgic thing there too, where feeling that paper, it feels different, and it
Yeah.
feels like
Yeah.
my childhood. It feels like being in high school and at lunch hour going to the comic book shop to pick up a couple X-Men books or whatever. But
Yeah. That's #1 cover is like one of my favorite comic book covers all time.
I bought 2 I bought 3 copies. I bought one to keep as like my kind of like copy that I'll read. And then I bought one to take the cover off to do it as a poster.
Mhm.
But then on the inside of that fold out cover, they actually did that poster that's a vertical poster of all the X-Men. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, wasn't that an alternate cover too, or something? They stretched into like multi covers or something.
Oh yeah, on issue 1, yeah, they did. So you could buy the fold out one, or the newsstand version was like you would buy the Magneto, or you'd buy the Cyclops and Wolverine, or you'd get the one that's like Colossus.
Yeah.
Somebody got the random one that's like.
I remember having multiple different
I had all
variations. I had like 2 or 3 different versions of one.
And
Adam, do you have any insight to when online distributors get their inventory?
No, none whatsoever. I know that like BBTS, I think, is getting theirs on their own. Like they ship theirs themselves from Asia, so that's a totally different thing. That's not even a Jason thing. Like the factory basically delivers them to wherever BBTS asks for them to be delivered, and that's kind of it. As far as like smaller online retailers, like ecollectibles.ca, where I'm getting a bulk of mine, or like Hella Dope Toys or something like that, those would all be, just between Jason and the retailer. So if there's a particular retailer that you buy from and you're waiting on them, you contact them. They would contact Jason, and then they would get it. Hella Dope has gotten a bunch of theirs. E-Collectibles is on the way. Those are the only 2 that I know of, because those are the only 2 online retailers that I really deal with or talk to. But there's tons of them out there. So whichever one is sort of your favorite, let them know that you want some, and they'll get it sorted for you. Hopefully, like I said, Big Bad Toy Store is a totally different ball game than anybody else, though, as far as I know.
Let's see. Hey guys, I love the sign. Quick question: I received waves 1 and 2, and they are awesome. A back to full set on Kickstarter. Did the pledge reward include a comic?
Not that I'm aware of, but if you want to email me, help@spirotoys.com, I can certainly look at what your pledge was, and I think I could probably get you hooked up with at least one comic book.
All right, sounds good. Yes. This is true statement. Color choices, armor choices, colors on armor, on weapons. I mention this like every time I do a video. The color and the design on the weapons is far superior to anything I have ever seen. Like the scar damage. That
I was gonna say, like, the weathering on the weapons.
This dude's hammer, like it looks like concrete. Like somebody made the concrete hammer. Literally, just looking at it. I don't know how to do it, but it's awesome.
This is part of the reason that I feel so bad for people that sort of haven't gotten anything yet, is that as soon as you get one in hand, you absolutely understand why everybody's kind of gushing over these figures.
Yeah.
Like, they are, in my opinion, second to none. Like best kind of value for money. You know, the articulation is fantastic. The attention to detail is fantastic. You know, you can have your nitpicks. There's a couple things that I've made suggestions about. But I mean, apart from spending, twice as much, you're not going to get a better figure at the price point.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, you take one out. If you're watching this and you just get one, that's all you say, and you'll understand weapons, the plastic quality, and articulation. That neck joint to me is still like one of the most impressive things. Or you can do the neck. I don't see that on anything else, and I always mention that because I just love that. Unless the only thing I say, if you have like a hair piece that hangs down or something like that, that kind of will get in the way sometimes or something like that.
Yeah.
But anything else, you can do pretty much anything you want to do with that neck joint. Is really nice.
Well, the whole figure, really. Like, I've been trying to like find a pose that I can't get them into, and it's harder than I thought it would be to sort of reach the max. I mean, it just, you can put the points of articulation in, but that doesn't mean that the engineering and the sculpting is gonna sort of be worthy of all those points of articulation. Right. These figures really are, worthy of a high number of points of articulation.
That's a lot of attention to detail too. That, like, the knuckles. I always mention this because I always think this is impressive. You look at the fingernails, the knuckles, the fur on the hands and the feet. Even like the fingernails will have like little scratches in there, like your feet would see when running on the ground, sort of thing. I mean, you don't have to put that in there.
I genuinely thought that was one of the most sort of overlooked and sort of under advertised things when the first wave of reviews were coming out. People weren't talking about how the fact that like the apes and the cats didn't have the same hands.
Yeah.
Like, because at first glance you're kind of like, yeah, they're repainting certain figures or whatever, and they're using the same buck. But the way that they've done it, like with the different feet, with the different hands, the way they paint sort of the chests on the apes versus the way they paint the cats, like it's just an incredibly good job of using what you have to its absolute fullest potential.
Yeah. Let's see. Was this one legend host another? Raz, I'm not no legend. Adam might be a legend. I'm not.
Yeah, I don't think that's about me.
So let's see. Looking forward to seeing Jason the crew again at Legends Con this year. Where is that at?
Legions Con is the Mythic Legions convention in New Jersey in November.
Okay. All right. I don't have any Mythic Legions.
I
Not
have
for
too
the
many.
lack of not wanting them. I mean,
Yeah.
they look great, but that's just another line that you got to go down that hole. And I, I know my personality is like, yeah, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, I fell down that hole pretty bad. Yeah, absolutely. Endless Fables, making the point that like Batman has 1,000 issues.
Yeah.
Batman has 1,000 issues in his own book, but there's like 12 Batman
Different
books. I was at the
Batman.
comic book
Yeah.
store yesterday, and I was looking at the DC wall, and it was a Batman wall. Like there's been 1,000 issues of Batman this year. It feels like, whether it's this Detective Comics or the Batman comic, or
Yeah.
like all the different spin-offs where he's in medieval times or the future or
Oh, yeah.
alternate universe or whatever. Like there's just so many versions of it, and it
I know.
just the nice thing with that is that you can have sort of whatever version suits you.
Hmm.
But the bad thing is if you try to jump in at any point,
You're lost.
you're just absolutely lost.
Yeah. I didn't realize Batman was so until McFarlane toys. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, what is this? What version of Batman is this? I've never even seen it. And you do the Google, and this is like evil Batman or like good
Mm-hmm.
Joker from alternate multiverse. I'm like, what? It's just so many different versions. Like the movie stuff I know, and then I collected Batman comics in the '90s up past
Mm-hmm.
Nightfall and all that, but it's something that's strange. But you can get a Green Lantern Batman comic if you want to. That's an option.
I mean, it must sell on some level because if they keep doing it, someone's
Yeah,
buying it.
yeah.
It may go only a few issues because people read the first one and they're like, "This is just trash," but
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, they're still doing it.
Any word on when AWOK parts will be available at MAFC? What's MAFC?
My Action Figure Customs, Scott. I don't know. Not soon enough is my opinion. But that being said, I mean, there's so much good stuff in the pipeline, just coming from AWOK, that getting 3D printed stuff to do customs. I feel like I'm still a ways off in terms of needing those, and sort of the when I sort of ran the numbers of like unique horrid soldiers that you could build between like the figures in the main line and the ancients and all that kind of stuff. There was like you could do 10 just with existing kind of parts in different combinations. So when I get through those 10, then I'll start needing the My Action Figure custom pieces. But I'm really looking forward to what people are going to do. I mean, I predict people will do like different species, or like more emotive faces, different weapons or whatever.
Yeah.
There's still a lot in the comic book that we haven't seen. There's a spear in the comic book that the Horde has that we haven't gotten in the figures, and again, things that I've put on my list that I've requested Jason to make at some point. But if MAFC can get it out faster, I may go that route. So.
Let's see. I'm really, really happy with figures. Sparrows deserves a round of applause. Figure of the year contenders. Action figure of the year. Best new line. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't have anything really. What I collect doesn't compare in quality and paint, stuff like that. I collect a lot of like large company lines and things like that. And I don't. Maybe Mythic is something similar. I don't know, but yeah,
Mythic's its own thing. I mean, I mean, it's hard to kind of compare them because they're doing a different thing. They've got their way of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
AWOK's got them absolutely beat as far as articulation goes.
That's what I was thinking. I wasn't sure, but
Legion's the paint, like the figure is painted head to toe. So they've kind of got that going for them. But I mean, yeah, they're both fantastic. And there's so many good toy lines, right? Like this is This is like the
So
blessing and
many
the
coming
curse.
too that not even gotten
Mhm.
out there yet.
It's like, my toy collecting motto is I can't have all the things, because there's just, you have to say no sometimes. There has to be lines or figures or special editions or redecos or whatever that you just can't have because you know, space, money, whatever the issue is. um there's just too much.
Yeah, I backed a 3.75 inch uh, like version of a Joe.
Hmm.
Uh, what is it? Longbow? Long? I have
Call
to look.
sign Longbow.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. And I did like two of them, but there's like multiple versions. Oh, these look really good. And then I saw they were like doing clear stands and doing all this other stuff. So yeah, I think I could
It's
still, their pre-order thing is still up. So I think I could maybe get a few more in there. But
Yeah, I mean, that's I picked up a couple of the AWOK 4-inch figures before
mm,
the 6-inch ones, and they were super fun. And like what
yeah,
Jason was able to do with those was pretty impressive. So
mm,
I was excited for the 6-inch stuff, and it just, it hasn't disappointed. And I'm somebody that's been an absolute you know shill or whatever for GI Joe, and for that's the toy line that I've kind of collected the longest. But
mm.
GI Joe, Star Wars, Dragon Ball, um, some other stuff. If I had to drop everything else but one line, I think with where Jason intends to take AWOK, it would probably be AWOK that I would hold on to, because
Mm.
it's just so much fun.
We should bring back Motu good guy and bad guy feet. AWOC gets more hands and Marvel gets, so who should have them? Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
problem across the board though. With a lot of companies, like you're just not seeing extra hands like on mainline figures. Ever so
Mhm.
often, you'll see one figure that has like an extra set of hands, but that's about it. You're not getting,
Mhm.
unless you're paying like, now if you're getting Mezco or you're getting Mafex or stuff like that, that's $100, $120. Yeah, you're gonna get extra hands, but not in this price range. You don't usually
There's,
see
there's,
that.
there seems to be like a funny thing where like you either get too many or too few.
Right.
You get 37 hands, or you get just the two that the figure comes with.
Yeah.
So I'm always happy. Like AWOK, has that nice balance where you get like two extra sets. You get a fist and
Hmm.
sort of a more open hand, and then just your gripping hand.
Yeah.
To me, that's like just about perfect.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned like expression hands, like more open or whatever than what we get
Mm.
already. Maybe. Um,
I can see that
I,
as like a pack. Do like a pack of hands in different versions, and then you can like, because not everybody's gonna want like all the different hands, but
you know what? For the most part, I leave the gripping hands on, unless it's like,
yeah,
unless I'm setting up a little shot where I'm gonna have somebody punching somebody else.
yeah.
Or actually, I shouldn't say that, because I'm looking at Pale that's on my desk with a more open hand, because he has a non AWOK accessory in his hand. But um, yeah, I mean, I'm just I'm happy with whatever figures typically get. I'm such a I, I don't know. I should probably complain more about action figures, but I
Well,
just they're
like I
toys and
like
they're
additional
fun.
hands. Like Joe's to me should, not every figure, but more figures should have additional hands. Like they did rock and roll with and
Hmm.
that was great. I love that figure. Got him in doing the pose. That works out great. I would like to have some saluting hands in there
Hmm.
every so often, especially like people like Duke, Hawk, General Flag,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
anybody like
Yeah.
that comes
No,
out.
I agree. That's there should be some Joe fists as well, because I
Hmm.
feel like they'd throw fists every
Yeah,
once in a
yeah.
while. But
I'm not saying every figure has to have it, but and they've done a little bit better job. Like Sergeant Slaughter had multiple hands,
mhm.
which that was good, and rock and roll. So if they continue to do that, see where we got. I lost my place. Troopers need gear. Also fine. Yes, yeah, that's true. Stuck at work. See you in the past, gentlemen. Thanks for stopping by. My favorite lines: AWOK, Mythic Legions, Plunderlings, and NECA, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. That's a line that, good lord, if you can keep up
That's
with that, more power to you.
that's about where I'm at too. And I'm always jealous of the guys that only have one line. They're like, oh yeah, I only collect, this line, and I'm like, that's not that bad. It's like, they're complaining about like, oh, there's too many releases. I'm like, try following that, logic through, 4 or 5 or 6 lines.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I've cut things out, and I'm still at like probably 5 or 6 different things at least, and every so often, like I've decided I'm out on Star Wars 3.75. They're just sitting on shelves and boxes and hanging up on racks and things like that. They're not, I don't really do much with them. They got to go. It's got to make room for Joe's. It's got to make room for Motu, AWOK, stuff like that. So every so often, everybody does this for the most part. I think they do a purge of a line, and so they can go to something else that's doing better or releasing more figures or
I'm in that
vehicles.
mode right now. Yeah. I'm just getting rid of, some of the stuff where like I got extras of a figure, or I got I think I'm like, I've been saying this for like 2 or 3 months, but I think like 3 3/4 inch vintage GI Joe stuff has got to go, because I just don't pull it off the shelf. I just don't play with it, and if I don't play with it, it's not a toy; it's a collectible.
Yeah.
And I'm not a collector. I'm just somebody that has a whole bunch of toys. So
Yeah, I kind of do that too. It'll be like if I find myself not messing with something and it's just sitting there, I look at it like, why am I collecting this line for it just to sit there and me move it when I dust it? But if
Yep.
it's something that I'm messing with all the time, or I'm fiddling with, or I'm changing a pose or the way it looks on the shelf or something like that, I'm more apt to keep it. If it's, yeah,
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Interesting thought there. Let's see, some anteaters. Yeah, I mean, there's tons of sea fish people, avian bird people. Yeah,
Avians again. Stay tuned.
yeah. A lot, a
The
lot. It's so many different things there could be, and then you think about it. What kind of weapon goes good with that specific animal too? Yeah, that's a thought you gotta have. I mean,
if
yeah.
you have flight, you have the advantage of distance, right?
Mhm.
So, you start thinking that it's not a melee weapon that character wants.
Right.
It's a ranged weapon. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's the cool thing. I like that. Let's see. I strictly buy figures to play with, and I wish I could do photography stuff like I follow Shooting the Galaxy, and he does like all the Joe stuff, and man, I'm gonna tell you, that's simply fantastic. So I got a
I follow
friend that
Pablo
does that
stuff, and
too,
it's
and
really good too.
yeah, it's and and you see the behind the scenes. Oh, I just take this and a light, and it just seems like, oh, that's not that bad. But I never had anything look like that.
Comparatively,
Yeah,
comparatively, it's not that bad. I
yeah,
take shots like that all the time, where I'm like, this looks pretty good, and then I like kind of go to post it on Instagram, and I'm like, on second thought,
yeah,
this is not good at all.
yeah,
This is just...
yeah,
But usually I post it anyway, because who cares? It's just about having fun anyway.
yeah, yeah.
It's just documenting me having fun at the end of the day.
That's it. That's it. My 2 AWOK Joe Fest purchases are looking really good on the shelf. That's good. Yeah, I think I don't know how Joe Fest did, but I think they sold out like everything, right? Yeah.
Yeah. If
That's
Joe
great.
Fest had been any longer, it would have been standing at an empty table.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. You want to come in with all this stuff and leave with nothing in the car, just hop in and go on. That's great. Um, So just to summarize, I know we're a little bit over an hour here. There's email address, help@spiritoys.com. Like I said, you email Adam and just let him know your order number and what your problem is, what you didn't get, what your situation is, and he'll get back with you on that. I'll put that on our Facebook official podcast group so everybody sees that if it's not already. And hopefully everybody will start getting their stuff, and stuff's in transit, stuff already, people already almost, some folks have their stuff, some people don't. It's just, depends on where you live, where things are shipping out to. If you're a state or two away, you're going to get it quicker than if you're on the other side of the world, or you're on the other side of the country or whatever. It's just going to physically take
size of the order too. So the like, there's a little bit of like USPS is the smaller stuff and UPS has been the bigger stuff. So there's a lot of people that are waiting on like one figure. And honestly, it's because USPS just is not coming to pick up the deliveries when they're supposed to.
Yeah.
So a big shipment or a big stack of boxes got picked up today. Hopefully, that solves a bunch of people's problems. But if not, like I said, email me. I'll dig a little bit deeper. I'll see if that tracking number is something's gotten lost, or whether it's just gonna take another day or two or whatever. But
cool.
It'll all get sorted out.
Yeah, no doubt.
Everybody will get everything that they ordered. Don't worry about that.
Before I buy a figure, I will take a picture of everything. It's no, I don't buy it. Big mounts.
Yeah. Vero Atlas on Alder. That was a pretty dope shot.
Yeah, I saw that. Bombs. That's awesome. Yeah, I wish my daughter cared about stuff I do. But couldn't care less. She knows who Optimus Prime and Bumblebee is, but she's like, you got too much stuff. So when she tells me. Meanwhile, she got 2 rooms of toys. So.
She's probably not wrong though. I mean, let's be honest. They're not wrong. My kids are the same way. Shout out to Endless Fables too. He's got some good shots. He did that one with the Treyu, sort of over the baby lion, and I totally didn't even see I think it's a crocodile, like Crocmaster's Fiona is in the background. I didn't even see it. And then when I was like looking at the photo a little bit closer, I was like, oh, that's good. Good.
See, that's the sort of thing I wish I could do. And that's I bet you in his thought process, oh yeah, I'll just do this and this and this. We'll see how it looks. And I'm not even thinking anywhere near that kind of that level. So that's impressive. Folks that do that. So we're like an hour and 8. I want to thank everybody for coming through at 30 right at the end. That's impressive because usually it just goes down once you get past that hour. So everybody's here to see you, Adam. That's great.
I don't think that's the case, but I'll take it.
Let me find here's your channel. So if you're in this right now, you have not subscribed, go right now in the other tab, because if you're using Google Chrome, just hit the other tab, go to YouTube, go to this link right here, hit that subscribe button, watch the video, share the video, like the video. He's real close to the 500. And I forget what all that opens up now. It's that like community and
it opens up some of the community stuff. So the big sort of obvious one is that some of the monetization stuff opens up. But it also opens up like weird things, like you can link to other videos, which you can't do before then. So on days like this is the one that I really want, is that like on days where Brick is going to premiere one of our pre-recorded videos, it unlocks the ability for me to basically shift everybody that's watching my video at the end to that video. Like the autoplay kind of carries over. So it's cool little stuff like that you don't have access to, but exists. That's like really frustrating because you're like, it's so close and we could do so much cool stuff if we could kind of do that stuff, but they withhold that stuff. until you hit that benchmark. But they did change it. It did come down, and so I'm quietly optimistic that I'll get there sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you'll get there. Like when I first started, they had right after I started, they did the bump to 1,000 subscribers and then 4,000 watch hours. I was like, oh my god! I was like, this is going to take forever. And even after I got 1,000, it seemed like it took me forever to get the actual watch time. That was the problem. Like it took me like pushing hard on everybody I know. Please go watch these playlists. And I had friends that like I put your channel on like playlist watch all day long, and I finally hit it. But it literally took like I hit 1,000 in like June 19th, and it took like almost a year to get the 4,000 hours.
You know what's weird is that everybody seems to have like a different story. Like I've heard that a lot, where like people are like, yeah, the subs was easy, the watch hours was not so easy. I'm not at all worried about the watch hours. The watch hours, like I'm nearly at the 4,000 that I needed before.
Yeah, I've heard that too, and it's like I think
But
Cato
nobody
was the
wants to
same
watch
situation. He was way above watch hours, and I'm like, how is that? You know, and they don't make it easier. They don't count the shorts for you. They don't count live stream. Like as you watching hours, it has to be after it goes up, and then you watch it, sort of thing. So they don't make it easy.
Yeah, the metrics and that's the thing, is that like the metrics, not that anybody cares that's watching this anymore, but the metrics are different, and different channels work differently, right? When you're a channel that does all pre-recorded stuff and it's 10 minutes long, and it's like big flashy clickbaity stuff, that's one thing, but just about everything that I do is like this. It's conversation based. It's primarily live, and so the metrics, like the watch hours, have been fine. The subscribers is very different, because not everybody wants to sit down for an hour and listen to me rant and ramble on. I totally appreciate everybody that does, and it's a ton of fun. I always say it's way more fun to kind of open toys with your friends and like chat about toys with your friends. Like that's the whole point. So I just want more people to come and hang out and chat and hear about AWOK as well. But yeah, it's just about having fun. It's just about like sharing the fun and the joy and the passion of toys. So
yeah, you're never gonna get rich doing this. So anybody, people like, oh, you make money on YouTube. Yeah, but it's nothing. Let me tell you, it don't get your hopes up unless you're like millions of subscribers and putting out like hundreds of thousands of views per video. You're not making any money in YouTube. You're just not. If I'm lucky enough to make a little bit to buy a couple figures and something like that, that's good for me. I'm fine with it. You always want to make more, but really, at the end of the day, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, and I mean, I've said this to many people. If that's your intention, there's a way to do that. It's not this.
No, this is too niche.
Not toys.
Yeah.
It's not toys.
Yeah, you need to be doing makeup or clothes or something. But toys is
You
too
gotta be
niche
giving money to homeless people or something. I don't know what it's like. You can study it, and like it can be your job, and you could probably be fine. But as far as like just doing what we're doing, you do it because you love it, and that's what it's all about. So
Yep. Well, I think we're gonna call it there. That's a good hour and 14 minutes, right at 15. I want to thank everybody for stopping by. Definitely check out Adam's channel, Highly Articulated, on YouTube. Also help at spiritoys.com. If you have any issues, just email them there. And thanks for coming by, Adam. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's been a blast, man. It's been fun.
Tell Cato you're out, buddy. I gotta send you. We got your replacement right here.
If he can't be bothered, I mean, we can carry the weight.
It's good. It's good. Well, like I said, really do appreciate it. got anything else you want to mention? Anything coming up on the channel you want to kind of plug, or before we head on out of here?
No, I'm good, man.
Okay.
You know, check out the channel if you like it. Subscribe if you don't. I'm not offended if you don't subscribe
Yeah.
either. But,
Yeah.
we're just having fun talking about toys. I do my regular videos Sunday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. Come hang out and talk toys with us. I've got Dom from Toy Domination this week. Next week we're doing another Animal Warriors of the Kingdom live chat one. Chris from Full Force the following Sunday.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I love his stuff. I watch.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I mean, he's another guy that when I kind of got into the community of toy collecting, I was watching his videos, and he's sort of become a friend over the last few years, and so we're gonna do kind of a recap of Yojo June, and I think it's like 2 days before the Dragonfly crowdfunding thing ends, so we'll probably take a look at that, see where it's at. But
yeah, I like him. He's kind of like me. He's like likes the line. Will point out if something's like it's not great, but it's not going to go into like what I call the drama side of it.
No.
Yeah, you got those channels.
No, and I mean, there's a place for those too. I've been accused of being too positive by Cato, which is fair. I mean, it's just that's my nature, though. I wouldn't know how to do a video any other way. Like it's toys are an escape. Toys are fun, and if they're not, you probably won't get any more videos from me. That's how it works. Right. It's just if you want sort of upbeat, fun discussion about toys, I'm the channel for you. If you're looking for doom and gloom and who doesn't like who, you're not gonna get it from me.
Yeah. Well, that is it. We're gonna hit the button and get on out of here. Like I said, thanks for watching, guys. If you have not subscribed to me, do that.
What are you waiting for?
Yeah, I'm trying to get 5,000 for the end of the year. We're almost halfway there. That's a big goal, but
no, the goals seem far away until they aren't. So it's
that's the next one, right?
Yeah, then you're like, that was easy. Let's
go to 10,000. Let's see what's in that one. Yeah. Well, appreciate it. Thank you for everybody stopping through. Let me see if I can do this without screwing it up. I'll let Kato handle this. Okay, here we go. I think we got this going. All right. Outro time. Bye-bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone.